Welcome to the End of the Course Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Today we are doing a little different of a show. We're going to go live and we're just going to discuss some interviews that came out by Dame Dash. I think he's making a media run right now. He's got some exciting announcements and, his videos are very entertaining. So I want to go ahead and react to it. Some of it has something to do with, I guess, his little beef with Camron. And then other videos is just him kind of weighing in on things that happened in the past. But Dame Dash is a pioneer in hip hop. He's done a lot of great things. And he's a guy that I think draws a lot of attention and eyeballs. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video and let's see what Dame Dash is talking about.
I'd like to take this time, if you like, because I know you want to know about I'm going to tell you. So what happened was when 50 smacked Cam on his hips, I really was mad about that because, at the time I considered myself his OG and that's no that I want him doing. But what I was saying was, you over there with Steve Stout, someone that's I slapped and someone I'm beefing with, and 50 who's coming at me, pause.
All right, I have to pause it right away. First, we're not even a minute into the video and your man's already going in. Now, for those who's not familiar, Dame Dash is from Harlem, Camron's from Harlem. And apparently it's not the thing to do to let any man slap you on the hips, the butt, or any type of thing. So this is like a little way that, he's trying to clown Camron by saying he let him slap him on his hips. It's really petty type of stuff. I don't know why he goes there, but the shit is hilarious. Your man Dame is a funny dude, man.
And you letting 50 smack you on the hips?
Crazy.
And y'all chilling? Something must be going on.
Oh shit.
A Harlem never lets anybody smack him on the hips, on the ass. Not even in ball, be like, yo, stop, chill, don't smack me on my ass. And 50's a smart guy, so I felt.
We're Phoenix Energy, a family-owned oil company focused on unleashing American oil from North Dakota and Montana.
Like he was sending me a message like, I got your little mans. I got your Tony Ayo. I got your Memphis Bleak. I got your little brother. I'm smacking your little brother on the hip. So I called British and I said, what are y'all doing? It wasn't as a joke. It was like, what's going on? Because I'm a warrior. I've been going to war my whole life. I love it. I'm 54 years old, so I could tell things. I do this. And he was like, nah, he thinks cool. I said, y'all not going to tease him in that? I'm calling him. So I called Cam. Now he says his side, but I'm like, yo, I'm telling him that was funny, but yo, don't let nobody smack you on your ass. It wasn't a joke, haha. It was a joke after. Like, I don't like that. But yo, wanted some real never let a man smack you on your hips. We don't do that. Now you doing, especially now that you want to doing all this, don't start letting them do that, because that's not no Harlem shit. I told him, and I'm gonna tell, I got to get at him about it, and you're gonna get caught up. I asked him if he was all right with it out of respect. Oh, all right. Let me just tell this story, then I'll get some. My blood sugar's going low. I can't eat, so y'all got no. You know what'd be good? The pause, that shake, the coffee shake, pause, with all the nutrients in it. Can y'all do it as soon as possible? Because my sugar. So I'm like, yo, all right, whatever. And then when he got mad about it, I didn't understand it. And he waited a while to do it. So I'm like, what I didn't like was, number one, now that you have a platform, that's not what you want to be teaching younger people to do. It's bad enough as it is. You want to get on a platform and say it's okay that when your OG calls you to talk about something that you're going to say, I'm not going to answer that, and I'm going to talk about it on TV. That's not the ideals that I want him to be. That's not the message. And that bothered me. It was embarrassing. in that way. Like, damn, my OGness, my teaching is wrong. What's wrong with this nigga? But I'm like, I don't know why he's doing it. And then I was gonna respond, but I was like, that's what everybody wants to see. Like 50 and Steve Stout, they have popcorn. They're using him. I just don't know how. But they're the ones that will benefit the most because he smacked them on his hips. And it made me think he must have loaned him some money because now he must be telling them what to do. But when he did that, I was like, I'll let it slide. The Queen of Harlem happened to be up here and she talked me off the ledge and I let it slide. And I didn't have teeth, it was during Puff's trials. This is perfect. I don't want to talk about that shit at all. They're going to be saying I'm talking about this. I'm not going to say nothing. I don't want to do no interviews. And then he starts getting that, talking about my money, all that shit. Then he gets that honor up. And it's a lie what he said. It was a lie. So I'm like, why is he lying? And then I'm like, he knows Mook is in there. Pause. In the movie, Smoke Dizza, my OG Daniel, Black, my whole crew. So you trying to diss my whole crew and make what they did whack, but everybody else says it's good. It was in the New York Times. Kanye gave the illest premiere and everyone said it was, everyone has said that. But why would you diss something that represents the Queen of Harlem's in it? Why would you say that? Now I got to do something. And I just got my eye surgery. And I'm like, this is perfect. But when you get anesthesia, it doesn't come out your body for about a week. But I said, fuck all that. I'm sick of this. Because I knew I was getting my mouth done, pause. And I knew I really wouldn't be able to talk. So I said, I got to do this today. I don't give a fuck. And the thing about Cam is, I've known him since he was young. But he's known me since he was young. So I don't see why or there'd be any benefit. He knows what's going to happen here. Not violence. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe they convinced him. I don't know. It must have been a lot of money. But now I say what I say. And then my son calls me and says, Cam gave him some money to do an interview on his show. And that really bothered me because Cam knows, he known Boogie since he was born. He knows our relationship, the reasons for certain things. That would have really damaged our relationship. It would have.
Why is Airbnb paying me $20,000 a month? I'm going to show you a new way to potentially make money by pairing Airbnb
up a lot. And that's not all right to me. And if we on some streets, with the kids, so it also means you must think I'm soft, that you could with my kid. So to me, I'm like, this is what it was like. Because I pattern a lot of what I do, or I'm influenced a lot by the gangster movies. I watched The Godfather. So The Godfather 2, it was his little brother. It was Fredo. So right now, if we were saying what character is Cam in this movie, because he botched up a hit. They tried to hit him. His brother tried to get him hit, but they missed. Cam is Fredo. He's Cameo. That's his new name to me. He's Cameo. And to me, Cam going up against me is like Fredo going up against Michael Corleone. And you saw what Michael Corleone did. He hit the 5 families in one day, and he made everybody think he was weak. That's power. So what happened was he botched, for me, because I'm not dumb. Let me put this in context. Do you remember 50 saying that he had a documentary about Puff with Netflix?
Yeah.
It was highly promoted. So I know he be capping. There's no rights to buy from Paid in Full. The thing there is I was there. I don't have to buy rights for my own story. I already told those guys' story. Now I'm telling my story, my pain in full. I don't have to buy the rights. Never hustle. And you see, another thing that was bugging me out was Cam made this statement that he was the best that ever did it in Harlem, but he never hustled one day that I know of on a Harlem block. And because you said that and did this thing with my son, I don't want to have to. That's why I told the story about why I never hustled with Cam. The reason I never sold a drug with Cam. You know why? Because when he was young, I was on my way to the hill, me, him, and Big L. And I made a left on Amsterdam into a checkpoint, and I didn't have a license. But at that time, they didn't really always lock you up, but they sometimes did. So I was like, yo, I think I can get out of this, but I'm just letting y'all know I got 3 bricks in the car, but I'll wear it. Cam started crying, man. And he told us right then and there that he would put himself in PC. Dad, I'm putting myself in PC. Me and Big L like, what? So we went to the side and was like, you know, afterwards we were laughing, but we were like, I was like, I will never hustle with him. He's a ball player and he does music. So I never really, he's a civilian. But you can't be saying you the best that ever did it in Harlem and you never sold drugs. And if you had to go to Ohio after you was a rapper, that's not the best that ever did it. How dare you say some shit like that?
I'm not sure if it was recording. I don't think it was recording. But no, what I was trying to say is that Dame seems to say a lot of, insensitive things about his mentee because he calls Camron his little homie, and I think it's not making the situation get better. If anything, it's adding fuel to the fire. And knowing Cam and his ego, he's not gonna allow, Dame to try to little boy him or belittle him or things of that nature. And so it's only gonna escalate the situation. And it's not the way. I pray that they can work it out, amongst the two of them. But the one thing I have noticed is that these two guys, there's these like passive jabs at each other in a way where it's kind of sounds like a compliment, but it's not a compliment. It's like these little passive jabs. And quite frankly, I don't know that this is the best way to handle the conflict. I think it's best that they talk offline and kind of hash out what they got going on. You know, if you have a relationship with someone who's done some things for you, then, you know, I think you should just hash it out. Now, I think to Dame's credit, he said, hey, I don't think we should be talking about certain things out loud, even though he did take a little jab that kind of, you know, offended Cam. And he tried to sort of, you know, from what it seems like from my vantage point, he tried to, you know, try to take it offline, but for whatever reason, that doesn't seem to be successful. So they're going back and forth.
And another thing is, like, they made up no homo, but this thing saying pause has pause on his forehead. You didn't make up pause. So you lost your rights. You're not to me, you're Fredo, you're Cameo. No more. Pause. Don't act like you don't. Every time you say pause, you're celebrating the Godfather, me. We made that up. Stop saying it unless you think I'm the best that ever did it. Don't act like you did it. That was, you know, I'm like, and the reason why they can't say no homo, because they'll get canceled. So now you're going to try to now take that. So how could you say you the best that ever did it? Don't ever say that. So I also have to regulate that, because I don't want people ever to think that's a reflection of Harlem. Guys that curve, stab their brother in the back to help them out, won't pick up their phone. And you know, and this is the thing about the character, my character. This is one thing Cam knows. If a nigga punches me in my face, I'm swinging back immediately. I'd rather get my ass whipped. I'd rather get beat. I mean, I got jumped by 30 niggas. I fought all of them. I caught some stitches, but fuck all that. I would not be able to live with myself if somebody punched me in my face. And when I asked my cousin why he let True Life punch him in his face, he said, I wasn't getting paid this day, and he didn't swing back. So I wasn't fighting for someone that's not fighting for themselves. And he's warned that we are different kinds of people. You'd rather get punched in your face and not swing back in the moment. It's not even a thought. And then I'm like, he hanging out with Steve Stout. And I remember when I smacked the shit out of Steve Stout, he did not swing back. So he should be in that crew. They're the not poor swing back crew when they get punched and smacked. I'm not in that crew. This is because you f***ed with my kids. This is why I'm saying the truth.
Okay, so that part I have to say, I do think there should be rules. Whenever you have a disagreement with somebody, you know, to insert someone's children in there is highly sensitive. And I can understand why. Dame is kind of, all gloves are off. Now, this wasn't something that was done in the open. It just, I guess, behind the scenes, this dude tried to pay to talk, to interview his kid, just as a means of getting at his dad or whatnot. And it's just gotten way too personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gotten to a place where it just seems like, you know, they're no longer trying to salvage the friendship, because now you talking about somebody's kid, or you're trying to get somebody's kid to turn against their dad and say something negative. And when it goes into those type of orders, those are like, you know, forget just the insults. Like, those are like, you know, fighting terms. Like, it gets ugly at that point. And you could tell this dude got some energy. He feel away that the attempt was made to connect with his kid. So I just hope that before this thing continues to escalate, people that's connected to both of them can hopefully speak some reason into them, get them, you know, on the phone and talk it out, so that it doesn't have to continue to be a thing where they're continuing to attack each other's character online.
I'm not holding you down no more. Pause. So you could never think that you're going to fight a man that fights is going to be the man that has already let Nick punch him in the face and he did not swing back. And of course, you're going to click up with the nigga I smacked in the face that didn't swing back. You guys are brothers now. That's your crew. Go get money with them. Do that. But now you know what you do, what happens when you f with the Godfather. If there was a movie that if he was a character and paid in full, he was a character and paid in full. He's Rico. Right? Right now, that would be a Rico move. This nigga with my kid. That was crazy. But he's not Rico. He's Rico Suave now. So when y'all say good job, Rico, call him Rico Suave. That's what I would do.
He's hurt by
I don't
get hurt.
See, there's like a level of I'm a guy that fights. And I could say this, like, you know, I fought everybody. Jay's a good opponent. I can't beat him yet. Pause. And I'm not trying to beat him. I'm just protecting myself from the things he's tried to do. But he has resources. He got a lot. But these other guys, they don't fight like that. They're not used to that. And you know, I'll go head up anytime. I do it all day. He's fun to fight. Pause. This dude, he's never been in a real one with a real one. Never. This is what I do. I fight Lior. I fight Steve Stout. You know, my ex-wife's lawyers were Trump's lawyers. I went head up with them the same way. Shapiro, I talk to him like he's my son. Trust me on that. This nigga was talking for Rockefeller. How the f you going to talk about a company that I started? Get the f out of here.
If you are in healthcare, a nurse, or a practice provider, listen up. Not too long ago, I was testing every single side hustle.
Ask him. I went to war with real warriors that beat other people, but they're not beating me. We went to court. We had to call it. You know, it was a dismissal, or we settled. Like, you know, they didn't win. I was able to sell I won that, actually. I won. We went to court and I won to me because I was allowed to sell my interest, and they said I couldn't. And if you remember, they accused me of trying to sell something I couldn't and saying it was the whole thing. That was a lie. But it's all fair in love and war. Through this, I want to say this. And I hate to have to say this, but I am a gentleman. A real warrior respects real warriors and real things. They really do. So, just even with Cam, I do think I made a mistake. Bleak, I got a lot of respect for Bleak now because I realize his strength. I'm not saying he's the smartest light in the room.
See, like
that's not his superpower.
Like Jab.
It's his loyalty. You can't say nothing about that man's big homie. And every time he's seen me, he's been a gentleman. Every time. And he's been the only one that took a call and talked to me. But the loyalty, he's been I'm thinking, damn, maybe I should have made him the vice president. That's where I fucked up. I didn't see his strength. It takes time to show loyalty. I'm talking about this nigga, because the reason why I'm saying he's not, because he will not let you say a word, even if homie's dead wrong. He'll say some stupid shit, but that's what you're supposed to do. And I see how hard he's working, despite the fact I don't think that Jay takes care of him at all. And he's still out there. I got to respect that, man. And he will never say nothing bad about his big homie. So I want to give a cosign to Bleak, and I hope that any way I can help him get money. It doesn't mean I want to hang out with him or his crew. Because I be seeing Cam asking that stupid shit, like, you know, I'm not trying to I don't want to hang out with niggas. I don't mind hanging out with Bleak because he's funny, but he's loyal. And that's what it's like. Now I was like, damn, I thought, like, I got Cam, he got Bleak. Damn. And I thought that was way stronger, but look. So yeah, anyway, I can help him, and I think everyone should support him, and everybody should do his interview. Any way I can help your show, let me know. You know, he's a gentleman. I can't, and a real warrior will do that. I doesn't mean I fuck with y'all, but I respect that. And if your big homie taught you that, good teaching, bro. Because I look at this. Now, what you got to remember is I've always said I don't trust dudes. In the Bible, the closest person to Jesus killed them. And it always happens that your best friend is the person you've given the most to hates you the most for some reason. I saw it happen with Jay.
That's true.
But You think I'm gonna let that shit happen twice? Once I saw them hip smacks, I started I started to prepare. So God keeps doing that because
This dude's crazy, man.
it keeps working. That trick keeps working. But I'm not gonna be surprised. I'm gonna be prepared. And that's why, again, I don't know what they did or what they're gonna do, and I don't care. You know, Cam had Fendi call me yesterday, FaceTime, because he found out he didn't know I'm the chairman of Revolt right now. But I think he knew I had a show coming and he wanted to be the executive producer. First of all, Fendi, no disrespect, but he don't have a mustache. So I said, Fendi, I don't trust niggas that don't have a mustache, especially dark-skinned niggas without a mustache. From Brooklyn. But also, Cam plays too much. Like, I'm not doing this trick booking and all that. But, I'll talk to him later.
Hilarious, man.
In person. Really, he should come on the dock, pause, and go for a ride with me on my boat on the lake. That's what he should do. I'll talk to him. I'm going to go get a boat so we could talk.
That sounds low-key serious. Like, this nigga fell away. Like, it's that type of, like, that's where he at with it. It's crazy.
With a lot of plastic on it. Nah, I'm just playing.
I hope he ain't.
So, that's really that when it comes to that.
All right. So that was Dame Dash addressing the Camron issue. They got this back and forth thing going on. Hopefully they can squash that, man. Those guys are, it seems like they've been, they've been too involved in each other's lives to allow these little petty internet clickbait things getting in between their relationships. So hopefully cooler heads can prevail and these guys can talk it out. Now there is another video of my man over here addressing the Beyonce. Now apparently there was a rumor that he tried to talk to Beyonce. I didn't even know this, but all of the dialogue seems to have.
Let's talk about why multifamily investing in 2025 is exploding and why now is.
All right.
I hate I have to ask you about this because I don't want to be asking you about another man's wife, but I keep seeing it around the internet. And I know you've seen it too. So, I got to get your point of view on it. Is there any truth to you trying to talk to Beyonce while she was with Jay?
Nah. I like Willie D a lot, and I was surprised that he had someone that's not credible on his show like that. But some things that he says are true, but everybody knows. But like the things he says, like intimate, he's not a Rockefeller specialist. We never respected him as a Rockefeller. He was never any of our friends. None of that. He was just a hired employee like the hundreds of people that have done that. He just happened to be getting content. Like I said, whenever you talk to someone that was said that they would know everything because they taped everything and you took all the footage, show it. Back it up. Pause. You know what I mean? But I would never try to talk to another man's wife. Before that I ran into it once, and I think I got a number at this Victoria's Secret show, but to me, she was like a little girl. So I was going after Giselle. I wasn't going it was like Giselle, everybody. And Naomi Campbell was a lot of people that she hadn't realized the potential yet. But it was because I honestly was like, I'll call you to talk to you. But that was like a year or two before all, that she wasn't, she was probably like a almost, like she was, I don't want to say this because it'll trigger too much. So, but I never tried to talk to her after that. I would never, we're rock stars. So yes, definitely. It wasn't like I never looked at one of his girls and said, I'm going to smash her. That never happened. Once he would hit the chick, then I'm not fucking with her. But before we would go hard, but he would do that a lot. Like, girls.
Hold on. So the rumor is that before this dude got with Aaliyah, to my knowledge, I think that she used to talk to Jay and then it didn't work out with Jay and then they ended up clicking up and getting together. So I can't fact check it, but this is what I've heard through the grapevines. I don't know whether that's true or not, whether that's the grapevines just talking out of turn, but that was what I've heard before. So if that is indeed true, then it would seem that he's contradicting himself on that particular statement. But if it's not true, then maybe he's got a point. I don't know.
Again, I'll put it in the book, but I never chased his chicks, but sometimes if there was a choice, they would choose me a lot, and sometimes they would choose him. But I you know, Aaliyah hadn't would want to. If he would have touched her physically at all, you know, any penetration or anything like that, then I could have never wifed her. That would have never. I'm not a guy that's ever gonna wife a girl that my friends. I'm not ever gonna do that. You understand what I'm saying? I couldn't do that. I can't walk in the room and they got that connection. Never. So the only reason why we were both going at her, but she chose me. That's all. But it wasn't like I was trying to take his girl. I mean, he might have had PTSD because of that, which I'm sure he did. You know, I can't help how a girl feels, but you know, I wouldn't. He knows I would never do that. You know, I don't even listen to Beyonce records because I don't want to fuck her. I don't want to see her shake her body. I don't, even though Jay, I still consider my brother. I don't even really know what she looks like. You understand what I'm saying? I don't really look at her. I don't listen to her music. To me, her music portrays her, and the way that she dances and stuff puts her in a sexual light. So I feel funny looking at it. I can't even really, like, I don't play no Beyonce records. It's not because of Jay and the problems we have. It's because of the respect I got for him.
I respect this point. I think this is a very valuable thing to say. It's true. Too often guys are falling off, you know, losing relationships because they messing with somebody's girlfriend. And it's true. You should not be, you know what I'm saying, messing with nobody's girlfriend. Just if we keeping it real, you know, and even though they fell off, I think they have enough relationship. I think he's the godfather of Jay-Z's kid, or Jay-Z's the godfather of his kid, somebody. But to me, it's one of them things where it's like, it's a respectable thing right there. There's certain things that's, you know, a line that you don't cross. And too often these guys be messing around with the same girl. To one guy, that girl is just a flex. He's just having a good time. It's a casual encounter. To another guy, he actually loved the girl, right? So you see a lot of different situations with like a Ray J and a Floyd Mayweather, where they were playing around, sharing each other's women, and then Ray J starts messing with one of Mayweather's girls, and now he falls in love with her, and now he wants her, and now they fall off as friends because she ends up being his wife and having children. Then if that doesn't work, she goes back to that situation and it gets messy, right? And I think it's true. You're better off to steering clear of messing with each other's girlfriends. I think that was one of the reasons why Drake had a lot of problems in the industry, is that these guys are sharing women, thinking it's all a thing. It's what rock stars do. And before you know it, somebody like that girl a little more than you think they should, because they're just a slob for you. But that person, that girl mean the world to that dude. So now they feel away. They start seeing you different. The jealousy kicks in, and human nature, man. Next thing you know, people get territorial. Next thing, there's resentment. Next thing, insults. And then they're in a full-out war over some pillow talk with the same girl that they was both hitting. So I respect him for saying that. I mean, I think that's the right way to approach it. Even if he's not rocking with Jay anymore, it's always good to keep it respectful. Like, look, that's that man's wife. I don't even want to talk about it. Never looked at it like that. That's the right way to do it. So I definitely salute him for the way he handled that situation.
You understand what I'm saying? So last time I saw Jay and Beyonce, that was Shaka's party. I ran into her. We talked, and I said, "There's Rachel right over there, and go right over there." I don't want that. I don't even want her to have the chance to like me, because it's hard not to. I'm not gonna say she do or don't, but I don't even want that. I don't want to. I've had connections with other people's girls, and I'd be like, "You know better than that," and walk off. Like, we'll get the eye. Let's stop talking, because you know homeboy's gonna go crazy. Let's go. And I'm not gonna say who that is, but it's happened that I've said no to other niggas' wives a lot that I respect, that everybody knows. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't do that. And to niggas' daughters. Like, if your daughter, I get really offended when I hear that certain niggas, and you know who you are, have ran up in my daughter's DM. And I'm like, damn, that nigga is so crazy. I'm like, that nigga knew you was a baby. And I'm a step to that nigga when I see him. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you know that's my daughter. Like, either way, out of respect, bro. I know it's my daughter.
That's a violation. Yeah.
But you already know what you're gonna do. I know. I tell me and my daughter got the best. I tell her everything. All these niggas do want to fucking tell everybody. Do not do it. Only with somebody that really loves you, make him earn. And once he does that, he's responsible for your bills because I did that for your mother.
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space? Enter your address and get a 360-degree satellite view of your home.
Call that. A real man doesn't make a woman pay a bill unless he doesn't have it and he's been paying the bills. And then when he's down, he's not down for long. And that's when she could help. But she knows that you're fighting every day, so she never has to work. That's why I never let my girls work. I start them businesses. I left my ex-wife $100 million business that I created for and invested $8 million in. It's all hers. You know, I judge people at manhood a certain way. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying Charlemagne, you know, he's feminine. Like, not to say, I don't know if he's gay or not, but he doesn't represent a masculine black man. And I hope people don't think he represents us as a whole. And this is how a black man acts, you know, to the other cultures that he's talking to, because we ain't jacking him. We don't do that. Pause. Like his OG is Wendy Williams. My OG is Daniel. And a whole lot that I'm not even allowed to say their names.
Yo, Davey taking shots, man. This dude will take shots. Now, with the thing with Charlemagne, I can see where he made that argument. In terms of sometimes Charlemagne just goes off on a tantrum. You're like, bro, what are you even talking about? And I think it's just because he's paid to say certain things. And he just says certain things and he act like he believes what he's saying. So in a way, I can see why he will make that comment. Actually, Trump just came at Charlemagne and said something crazy about him. Called him low IQ or something wild. But yeah, so I mean, I think these guys are in the business of, you know, sensationalizing things. So maybe it's just part of the algorithm for Charlemagne to act the way that he act, but it offends certain people. So, I mean, he said what he said about it, but he's not far off.
So the rumor that's going around that you try to talk to Beyonce at the change clothes video shoot, that's a lie.
If I talked to her, I wasn't trying to get out of it. He's saying she was looking at me a certain way. I didn't notice. I didn't even look at her in the face. If I said hi, I don't remember. It wasn't a memorable moment, but my intention was never. Like I said, Naomi Campbell was there. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, she was doing me a favor. That's my sister. You know what I'm saying? I'm not paying attention. That's that man, girl. It's supermodels, all this shit. Why would I do that? I don't even know how good she looks. I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I could see what she's doing, and it's enough to turn away. Like I'd be like, oh no, I don't want to see her butt. I want to see that man. I don't want to see it. I don't know how he deals with that, but that's on him. That's just not me. That was an issue I was having with Aaliyah. Like at the time, it was like I wasn't trying to be in love with a girl that's gonna be doing kissing scenes and be in the studio with a nigga. No, I don't want that for me. I want you with me all the time. A nigga that's gonna be with you in the room for 12 hours will definitely fall in love. I did. So why would I want to put you? I was doing everything I can. Like, yo, let me get your shit right so you don't have to be around nobody or leave the Australia for 4 months and do kissing scenes with niggas. I didn't like that shit at all. That's what I don't know what would have happened. And that's what's great about that situation is we never got to get to an argument. All I can remember is the golden times. But usually a long-term relationship has some dark times. I just never had any with her because we didn't get that long terms. The years we were together, she was on the road and doing movies a lot. But we were really in love. And yeah, she was the coolest.
And speaking of Aaliyah, that's another rumor that's been going around for a while too. And I hate to even ask you about this, but I'm sure you've been saying the same thing. It's been a rumor going around about that, about how she was with Jay first and you took her from Jay.
That's what I'm saying.
He was talking to her, but I didn't know. He's sneaky, so I didn't know. So when I was talking to her, she was like, "How's Jay?" And so she said, "Like, he must have tried it too." So it wasn't like I knew. I didn't know. Like with Beyonce was some sneaky shit. That nigga flew to LA and stood and it was, you know, he's slick. Pause. He's cunning. So you never really know what Jay's. You don't know who Jay's fucking with. The way he pulled Beyonce was cunning, real cunning. But that's his business. I ain't know. So let me just say this. You see how you say it's wait. You see how you say it's going around the internet? That's why I have to speak on certain things, or else it'll stay going around the internet and people will believe it, and it does affect my business. But if you're not a boss, you don't understand that. That's the reason why you see the dude from Apple before he died, he said his truth because he knew algorithms. What's his name? Steve Jobs. You see Elon Musk speaks a lot because the reason why you didn't speak before is because there wasn't an internet, there wasn't an algorithm, there wasn't social media. So now you have to approach business a little different. You have to be able to adjust. There's different weapons out there and there's different ways to fight them. These people that do certain things, they know about clipping. They know, I know all the tricks. I just don't do them. I don't have to pay for rhythm. I am rhythm.
He was fired just 3 weeks before he was set to retire.
And now he's becoming an industry whistleblower.
Okay. So that was a Dame Dash interview that we responded to. Now, he did do a Breakfast Club interview that I thought was pretty good as well. We'll probably go live on that as a separate segment. But as far as the Art of the Dialogue interview, very entertaining interview. That guy is absolutely entertainment. He's actually a pretty brilliant guy. He's a smart guy. He seems to always, hustle, and try to do his best. Obviously, I think the business is more complicated than most people know. So, he's probably got his ups and his downs. I'm not here to speculate on the man's pockets, but he seemed to be living his life and doing his thing. So hopefully the legal trouble's out the way and this man can do what he needs to do and they can, squash whatever beef they got. But that's just my take on it. I thought it was entertaining to kind of review this, as I have been getting some requests on it on the feed and people had talked about, commenting on it. So I wanted to do that. All right. Thank you for joining me and stay tuned for the next episode. All right. Talk to y'all soon.